Just how useful is a cheap eBay vinyl cutter? I'll show you what you can do with it and how to get started. As a maker, I love manufacturing things. 3D printing is a staple, but I also like laser cutting, CNC machining, and occasionally a bit of injection molding and vacuum forming. The point I'm trying to get at is I'm always trying to expand my manufacturing capabilities. So when a flyer came across my desk with a vinyl cutter, I was definitely interested. Teaching F1 in schools, teams need a lot of branding. This includes stickers, pit displays, and uniforms. I saw vinyl cutter as a great way to expand what we could do at school and also what I could do at home. Now, the vinyl cutter advertised was a Roland GS24 and it was worth about $2,500 Australian with a stand, and that's about 1,850 US dollars. I had no doubt it was going to be a quality machine, but I didn't think we were really going to use it enough to justify that price point. So I jumped onto eBay and I was flooded with a range of cheap options, about 20% of the price. At first I was tempted to buy a really wide one, but then I realized the width of the vinyl roll available would be the limiting factor and there was absolutely no point. In the end, I settled on this Refine MH721, and that's because it was a clone of a UScutter model. Every time I looked into software and drivers and things like that, UScutters were definitely supported, so I hoped that this one would be too. The good news is that it is. Let me give you a tour. Alrighty, let's have a tour of the machine. Firstly, we start with our host computer, and an old netbook is perfect for something like this. The software doesn't take up much space, and it pretty much only needs one function. So it's small, lightweight, and eventually I'll build a little shelf for it on the side of this stand. This stand had to be assembled by myself, and there's really not much to it. It's got casters on the bottom so you can wheel it around, and then under here it's got these two rollers that support the roll of vinyl, and on the sides they have some bearings. Up here we have our control panel, and this sticker surrounding it is ultra dodgy quality, but I can live with that considering it's so much cheaper than the proper ones. We have our actual cutting head here. It's the equivalent of an X-axis. Then we have our Y-axis, which is this knurled roller the whole way along. And then we have our pinch grips. And this model has 3 of them. That's something to look out for when you're buying a vinyl cutter. Other things like a 3D printer are an end stop. And then down here we have our actual tool cutter. So this piece here is like the Z-axis. You can see it goes up and down to apply pressure for the cut. And the tool head can be removed very easily. You simply unscrew this, swing it out, and then we can get to our blade. The blade must be set up so it pokes out the tiniest little bit, a fraction of a millimeter, and generally you use a couple of sheets of paper and you keep on changing the pressure and the position of the blade until it cuts through the top, but not the bottom. Let's power the machine on. It's going to be a little bit noisy as it homes. And we can see here we only have a couple of settings. We have speed and we have force, and they are changed by using these buttons on the side here. So we can put our speed up. It goes all the way up to 700, but I found 500 fast enough for my needs at this stage. The force can also be changed. Settled on 100 grams. I believe the most it does is 150 grams. So we'll quickly demonstrate the way that it operates, and that is to manually move around the starting position. So what we do is hit offline pause, and then these buttons here will now change the position. So we can move the head back and forth. If we come to the back and lift up the levers for our 3 pinch rollers, that puts a little gap in between the roller and the part that moves the vinyl, and it also allows us to move it from side to side to position them to suit the width of the vinyl that we're cutting. The vinyl cutter also came with this instruction manual, but most importantly some spares, including spare blades. These blades are the same that are used in all the rolling cutters, so it will be easy to get them in future. So the next thing I needed was some vinyl. So I hopped on eBay again and I found a supplier that sold 9-meter rolls for only $30. As far as consumables go, that's pretty damn cheap. I picked up 9 meters each of black and white, and the other thing I picked up was 9 meters of clear transferred sheet, which I'll show you how to use later on. Now the width of the stick you can cut is limited by the width of the cutting area of the machine, but the length is continuous, which means on paper you could cut a sticker 9 meters long. I quickly decided that the bundled Art Cut Studio just wasn't for me, so I got looking for a replacement. For about $100 I found Easy Cut Studio. So far I found it easy to use and intuitive. Let me show you how it works, and let's cut our first piece of vinyl. So this is how Easy Cut Studio looks. All I've done in my setup is gone to Cutter, My Cutter, Manage Cutters, and the advantage of us buying the one that we did is that we have everything listed here, and because it's a clone of a common one, we can select it from here and our model will come up, and then we can add it to this section. That means that it knows how to communicate. All of the settings are already inbuilt, and it makes life very easy. Apart from that, I've set up a custom size of the mat by coming to here. You can see I've set it up at 600 by 1800. As we know, our y-axis up and down is continuous, so I've just put in something to handle larger files, but most of the time you could probably set it to something smaller and it'll work just fine. And the other thing I've done is clean up the grid, set it to be 200 with 2 subdivisions, which means every square here is 100 millimeters, and I find that helps me scale things a lot easier. Now, all the examples I show you in this video are going to be vectors, either from the built-in clip art or ones that I've created myself. But just to show you that it works with other types of images, in case you're not as technical, let's paste in an image off the internet of Chuck Norris, and it's only 233 pixels square. So it's very low quality. What we're going to do is to scale it up and then come up to the trace function. And then we can see we have these settings here. I found that single color works best. And you have these smoothers here to play with the different settings. The main one you'll need to do is the contrast, and that decides how much detail is captured, basically the tolerance for the light and dark areas. Then you hit update preview, and the red will be shown where it's going to trace. If you want to hide the original image, you can slide that down. This looks pretty good for me. I'm going to hit OK. And now when I come to preview, we can see that it's going to cut out this shape here. I would say that that's a pretty effective tracing action, turning a raster image into vector, and quite powerful feature of the software. Now, notice down the bottom we have a clip art section inbuilt where we have a bunch of different vectors that we can drag out and add to our own design. Anytime we have something selected, it's very easy to manipulate it. Hold down Shift like on most software to keep the aspect ratio. We can rotate, we can scale up and down, we can move around, we can basically do whatever we need to, and it just works. It's nice and straightforward. I personally prefer to hide this so I can maximize my working area. The next thing you're going to want to do is hit the preview button, and that will give you an outline of what exactly will be cut, as well as a bounding box. However, this will not be cut. We can see here that only the red sections are what will be cut. To start a cut, all we need to do is to come up to cutter, and all of our settings are inbuilt. The only thing you'll need to change is the COM port. And you'll notice that the positioning of it on that canvas doesn't matter. It always moves it automatically as far down and to the right as possible. And that corresponds to the origin point on the printer, which we're about to set. Let's load up some vinyl. So we place it down on the roller behind. We lift it up, and this is pretty difficult with one hand, but very easy with two. And because we've lifted the pinch rollers up, you'll be able to pull it through manually, kind of like on a 3D printer when you squeeze the extruder, and then the spring compresses and moves away from the filament, so you can pull the filament through manually. It's quite important to make sure that this is parallel, and if it is, you can start to lock the 3 locks at the back into place. And wherever you want to start cutting, you then move the head to, and when you're done, you press the origin button, and we're ready to cut. Here is the machine in action. As you can see, it's pretty fast. It's whizzing through this shape, and in total it only takes around 20 seconds. This is with a cutting speed of 500 millimeters per minute. Remember that it can go up to 700 millimeters per minute if you so desire, and that will speed things up just a little bit more. It's probably impossible to see, but our part is cut out along here. So once again, we hit the offline pause button and we feed the vinyl through. And generally you would get the scissors and cut out around your shape. So here it is, and something like this is super easy to pick and place. Simply peel it off and then stick it onto an object of your choice. But really, to test the machine, we need something harder. So let's step it up a notch. So this time we're going to do something more challenging, so why not the Teaching Tech logo? It's got lots of little cuts and segments that will be a nightmare to peel off unless we do it properly. So let's start by deleting this one and then come up to import. We've selected our file. It looks like it's pretty good, but just to make sure, we'll hit the preview button and we can see that everything is going to be cut out nicely. So we'll hit done. Only thing I might do is to scale it down a little bit. At the moment, we can see that it's just over 200 wide. Let's halve that and make it about 100 wide. Excellent. Time to take it to the machine and cut it out. Now we've got this big ugly hole cut out from the last one. Not to worry, because we can manually set the starting position. We're going to position it down here. So all we need to do is bring the cutter over to this side. Move it into the position that we want, and then hit the origin button. Now, just to make this a little bit easier, you'll notice that there's only one pinch roller currently touching the vinyl. So it's a good idea to temporarily move it out of the way, position at least 2 pinch rollers here and here before we start our cut. Alright, we've got our Teaching Tech logo, and now comes the very annoying job for a sticker like this, and that job is called weeding. Basically, we need to remove half of the sticker to leave for half the side that we want. Now, they can get weeding tools to do this, but they're effectively just sharp little things. So tweezers or something similar should do a pretty good job. I'm going to start by removing the outside, as that's the most obvious part. Now comes all these tiny little segments in the middle, and right now I'm regretting choosing this as my test sticker. But as you can see, everything was cut out absolutely perfectly. It goes so fast and it's making so much noise, you figure something must be going wrong, but it is entirely crisp and perfect, and I couldn't be more happy with it. Now, to do this in a more professional way, you would never give somebody this piece here, even with all of this removed. You will always have a protective cover on top, and for that, you need to introduce our clear sheet that we looked at earlier. I'm going to start by bringing my clear sheet across and roughly positioning the sticker there, and then I'm going to cut out a slightly oversized piece based on this measurement. And now we take the clear piece and we're going to apply it over the top of the black. I strongly recommend starting from one side, getting a nice adhesion, and then using something like a credit card and working along the surface of the sticker to make sure you don't have any bubbles. Now, you really want to work this because you want to make sure that the sticker is stuck with more strength to the clear cover sheet than the backing below. Otherwise, when you try to peel off the backing to place the sticker, it's going to come off on that and leave it in pieces. Our last step is to introduce a guillotine, and that's going to cut the sides of the stickers really neatly. I'm going to cut just a little bit out from the actual sticker. There we are, a perfect sticker. So what should happen is, as you remove the backing paper, the sticker sticks to the clear sheet. That will help you position it because it's see-through onto your object, and then when you're done, you peel off the clear sheet and your sticker will be transferred perfectly. So this sticker turned out pretty good, and it's testament to the quality that this achieves in such little time. There's only one problem, and that's that our stickers so far are only one color. Now, you can spend up to $10,000 Australian on a roller machine that can print out in full color before cutting out the profile, but that's a pretty serious commitment. Instead, I'll show you a way where you can layer up multiple colors to create much more complicated stickers. I have a range of stickers that I designed to be silly stickers for my drift car. I'm going to try this one here in the corner, and your first step is to come to Type and create outlines. This will convert the text into straight line paths. That way the font is not required by the other program when we put it in. And now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to take it over and paste, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to ungroup everything. And basically what I'm looking to do is to separate this outline from the rest of the sticker. Now, for this part, the hand and all the other shapes are actually floating on top, but what I might do is use the pathfinder, and that will cut out the black parts from the red, leaving it hollow. So I've selected both, and it should be a matter of hitting minus front, and that gets us exactly what we want. So if we cut out this in one color and this in another, we can overlay them before we stick them down, and we will have a multicolor sticker. Okay, I have my two parts of the sticker in, and even though the color is retained, of course when we hit preview, it changes and shows us that it's only going to do outlines. At the moment, everything is stuck together, so we need to click on it, right click, and then ungroup. That will allow us to have the two halves separately, but it's also broken all of our text here. So I'm going to undo to move this back in, select it all, and then group that part. So that should have preserved all the letters. We have this half, and we're ready to go. Then we have the black vinyl loaded up, so I'm going to actually do this one in the black, and then this will be a white overlay, so you see the black lettering through the middle. So temporarily I'm going to hit delete on this one, knowing that I can hit undo to get it back later on. I'm going to send this one to the vinyl cutter. So the outline has been successfully cut. I've taken the black vinyl out of the vinyl cutter and loaded up the white. So now I am ready to undo to get back my other half of the graphic, and then I can delete this one, and it's simply a matter of sending this one now to the vinyl cutter. This time I'll leave the sound running so you can hear exactly how it sounds. Alright, time for our last sticker. We have our clear transfer sheet ready to go, and then we have the two halves. We have the outer border, and then we have the white one with all the lettering. We'll start by removing the outside section that we don't need from the black. Perfect. And now we have the not so fun job of weeding the white sticker. That's the worst of it over. I couldn't perfectly get all of the letters. The inside of the R and the inside of the A here were lost. It was just too small and fiddly. You'd need 2 sets of tweezers, a very steady hand, and probably a big magnifying glass to get that to work. Time to start layering up onto the transfer sheet. Okay, this time we're going to peel it the whole way off and have it face down. And we're going to put our new sticker right in the middle. And we're going to work it really hard with our card just to make sure it's stuck down really, really nicely. Okay, hopefully that's done the trick. We'll pull this backing sheet off as shallow as we can. And once we get to the lettering, we're going to do it slowly to make sure we don't accidentally pull up anything. Now we have one more difficult part, and that is to flip it over and line it up as perfectly as we can with the black. Once again, we want to apply a fair bit of pressure. We want to make sure that our white sticker is stuck more to the black than our transfer sheet is, particularly around those little delicate pieces. Final step in the procedure, and that is to use our guillotine to trim back the edges. Beautiful, we have our sticker ready to go. When we peel this back, it should transfer both of the two colors together, and it will go nicely onto the vehicle. So that's how the process works. Let's evaluate it with some pros and cons. Now, getting stickers professionally made in small batches isn't cheap. Over time, doing it this way is going to end up way cheaper. If you're doing one-offs, you just can't compare. Compared to other machines like a 3D printer, this is a pretty simple machine. There's not that many moving parts, and you'd hope it would be reliable. In terms of consumables, the roll and blades are going to be really easy to find, so I'm not worried about that either. This vinyl is going to be very durable. I know that it's waterproof and it should last outdoors for quite a long time. I consider one of these machines quite versatile. The other uses I'm going to cover in future videos. Now onto the cons. In the home setting at least, it's pretty inconvenient. It's quite big and it's quite loud as it's cutting. At a school, probably not so much of a problem. There is one potential downside, however, that could end up being a real deal breaker, and that's your level of skill. As you've seen in here, it takes a very long time to weed things, and if you're not very skillful, you might damage the sticker in the process. The quality of the output of this machine or any other vinyl cutter will be limited by how much time and effort you're willing to put in to build your skills and get a good result. Well, that's it for this part. I hope you found it quite informative. In part 2, we're going to heat things up a lot because we're going to look at cutting heat transfer vinyl to make our own customized clothing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. G'day, it's Michael again. If you liked the video, then please click like. If you want to see more content like this in future, click subscribe and make sure you click on the bell to receive every notification. If you really want to support the channel and see exclusive content, become a patron. Visit my Patreon page. See you next time.